When they hear the sound of the drum, they'll be saying, oh Lord, here they come. Yeah, here we come. Here we come. Here we come. Here we come.
Are you sitting comfortably?
Yes.
So, Phil, well, look, I'll introduce you. This is Phil Heath. I'm sat with Phil Heath, the legend.
Yeah. 7-time Mr. Olympia.
Can you believe it?
Yes and no. I mean, I'm trying to think. When I got started, October 8th, 2002, the last thing I was thinking about, or even the first thing, was like, you're going to win the Olympia, let alone 7.
How old were you then?
I was 22 years old. And I just got done playing Division I basketball at the University of Denver. So
I think everyone knows you.
Yeah. So the last thing I was thinking is, okay, I'm going to go from this to being a bigger guy and then winning competitions. I mean, it was just tremendous. It was, it's a whirlwind.
So, and that's what I really want to hone in on.
Mm-hmm.
That break when you started winning. What happened to make you win?
I always had the will to win. I always looked at creating opportunity through hard work, sacrifice, being willing to, do the work when no one was watching, when no one was patting me on the back. And I felt like it put me in the best position to when something would present itself as far as like bodybuilding or school or whatever. It just happened because of the preparation along the way. My whole life, I've always been, goal oriented, always wanted to be the best at whatever I did. So when it came to bodybuilding, it was quite easy because I always played in team sports. And in team sports, you always got to worry about yourself, but also your teammates. Mm-hmm. In bodybuilding, it's just you. So I was like, well, all I got to do is just train and learn about the process. Well, I can do that.
Did you learn that mindset, or was that like already inbuilt? I
think it was, I just love winning. I think it's like, that's my drug.
So
winning. Success. I love it. We could play cards. We could play a video game or race a car, like something. I just love winning, and bodybuilding, just like anything, we all train for like some instant gratification, let's be honest. But with bodybuilding, it's a longer journey, and I just made it a game. Every time I go to the gym, I have purpose. Every meal that I eat has purpose. Every minute of the day has purpose. So it's like a lot of people walk through life without purpose. Bodybuilding gave me that.
So you had an aim in your head that you wanted to win the Olympia.
Mm-hmm.
Did that help you then to set your goals and to achieve them?
I think it reaffirmed that my mind was in the right place. Meaning, okay, when I was in high school, I wanted to get a scholarship, so I was able to do that through hard work and this and that. When I got to college, did I, become a starter? No. So I had some disappointment with that, but I did graduate. So I thought, okay, did that. Was able to accept certain failures, certain things that didn't just go my way. But then I was able to transition into becoming one of the best bodybuilders to ever, grace the stage. So, I think it was always ingrained in me to want better for myself. What I learned mostly was not to be afraid of myself. A lot of the time we get in our head too much, and we think it's the world that's getting in our head, the distractions. No, it's usually yourself being afraid because of the underlying expectations of being your best. It's like telling a kid, so what are your grades like? A's and B's. Well, why aren't they all A's? And they'll say, well, and normally it's because the expectations of getting straight A's. Because they figure, well, if I get straight A's, that means I have to get it every time. I have to be perfect every time. Well, you just proved it. You did it. Why can't you just make it a game and just always go for your best? Never let up. And, I wasn't I was a good student growing up, but I didn't put the work ethic until I probably say after I got out of college. I think you grow a little bit. You know, when you go to college, you learn a lot about yourself, and bodybuilding really made me do that. And it wasn't easy because you have to be accountable. So you have like a mirror that you stare at, and you have to be accountable for what you see. You have to be accountable for what you eat. You have to be accountable for how you train, how you look. I don't care who you are. You have to be accountable for, hey, if you don't like the way you look, you got to be accountable for that. So a lot of harsh reality, a lot of vulnerability that I didn't have to share with other people. I had to learn about how I deal with stress, how I deal with success, how do I deal with failure, how do I deal with the unknown. And that's really, you know, a very difficult part of life is to figure out all those things.
Did you, I mean, you obviously understand yourself really well because the way you explain it, you know what you feel, what you want to achieve. Did you always know what you were like? Or have you developed that? Because what I'm trying to get to is the young guys that are listening to this, do they have to think about what they're like in order to be able to, you know, develop?
It's hard. I think some kids are going to develop faster than others. I think a lot of kids listening are going to be like, well, I come from this hardship. I had this adversity. I had this. And it's like, well, do I have to tell you as Phil Heath how many times it didn't go my way? How many times that, you know, I didn't grow up in a situation that I was amongst a lot of privilege. My parents worked really hard. I still remember, I think it was like 2 consecutive years where I would come home to find police in my house because our house got broken into. It was always during the holidays. And to find like your little piggy bank busted, clothes ransacked, your Christmas tree is just, you know, your presents are gone. And my birthday's a week before Christmas, so imagine that as a kid. But I think I just learned to not let things really bother me that much and show gratitude for what you do have. You know, I mean, was I bullied? Hell yeah. I grew up in a time, you know, I was born in 1979, so I was born in a time where it was like rites of passage. But you know what's funny is that, to answer your question, I realized that the bullies knew who I was better than me. So weird, right? Oh, well, you're short. Yeah. Or, oh, you're trying to be goody two-shoes and be the teacher's pet or whatever. Why? Because I'm a nice person? Why am I feeling insecure because of what this person says? This person is showing me what buttons can be pressed to get a reaction. Because that person sees I'm a nice person. That person sees that maybe I'm short or tall or skinny or fat or whatever. That person sees me being a good student and is trying to create distractions. So me getting ready for Olympia, I think I won the second one, and then I said I wanted to win 10. How many people said, Phil, he's cocky, he's arrogant, he's this, he's this, he's this? What did my goal have to do with you? Had nothing to do with you. It just played on your own insecurities. So I learned that, wait a minute, I had people kind of hating on me since I was a kid because it was about their insecurities, not mine. But then as a kid, you do wear that, like, oh, they don't like me and this and that. And you want validation and all this other stuff. And, you know, you get older and you realize that stuff does not matter. People are going to misunderstand me, and I got to be okay with that. People are going to try to talk trash about me, or I can imagine being a high school kid these days with social media. Someone could catfish you, tell a story, create a rumor. People are stupid enough to believe it, and then you have to walk through school like that. I encourage every kid to know their own truth and find out who they are and realize that if someone doesn't want to explore and ask you who you are and how you are, then that's their loss. But I encourage them also to know who you are. So when someone says, hey, you are ugly or this or that, you don't have to turn around. You know, do you think you're ugly? Well, if you say yeah, then You don't even have to acknowledge them then either. You don't have to acknowledge anything you don't want to. You have to look at it as every day you have opportunity. You have the opportunity to show gratitude. You have the opportunity to work harder, and that's gonna propel you to be a better version of yourself. Those same people that talk trash about me when I was 14, 15, 16, 17 years old, that were popular. They're not popular 20 years later. They're nowhere. They're the ones, buying a ticket to watch me compete, or they're the ones saying, I always knew you had it in you. Isn't that weird? The person that will bully you 20 years from now is going to say at the high school reunion, you're going to tell your wife or tell your husband, that person, Phil Heath, he was always smart. He was always nice, and good things happen to him, because those bullies grow up too. So, it's one of those things where I had to evolve and understand that a lot of people like to point out your flaws. Use it. They're telling you what you're not good at. If you get insecure about something, learn that you're insecure. Develop thicker skin. And that's hard, but it's necessary, depending on where you want to go. You want to go to the top? You have to learn to develop a outer shell to those people, because all they're trying to do is just distract you.
You mentioned a little earlier when you were talking about failures. Can you tell us a bit about that? We all hear about your successes, because you know.
Yeah, as far as bodybuilding is concerned, I'm trying to think, how many shows have I lost? I have to really think about it. But maybe I'll backtrack. So, playing basketball growing up, was a high school state champion, got a Division I scholarship, didn't really play in college. Easily could have transferred and played at a bigger school and this and that, but that didn't happen. Was very bitter. Was really disappointed that I wasn't utilized. I was always one of the most athletic guys on paper, with all the drills and all the stuff that we do to figure out who's the best guys on the team. I was always in the top %. It was just the coach's decision. So I had to learn that part. And I used to think of myself as a failure. And I was like, man, you didn't go pro, and then to have some of your friends who you grew up with go pro, make millions of dollars, playing on television, living your dream. It was looked at as a failure for me, but then I realized, Phil, that's their life. And here's the cool part. You grew up with them, so you can live vicariously through them. How cool is that? You can watch your friends play on television. Be happy for them. Live through them. And then bodybuilding opened itself, and obviously, I had really initial success, but I would say the failures were, going at my first Arnold Classic, got 5th. I came out the gate in 2006, winning my first 2 pro shows. So I was like, wow, I'm never going to lose. And then you get 5th. You're just upset. You're thinking, gosh. And in my mind, I could tell myself, I'm like, I know I'm better than Tony Freeman, Gustavo Bedell, Victor Martinez, and Dexter. I know I'm it was like I could see into the future. I know I'm going to be better than them, just not today. And that was hard. And, I'd say a failure was, 2009, after placing 3rd at my first Mr Olympia in 2008, but placing 5th again and having food poisoning the night before. I was like, what a waste of a year. But it taught me something. I got 5th here. I was the first person at the photo shoot the next day. So it was the last time actually that Joe Weider attended a photo shoot. And it was the first time in our history of our sport that we had muscular development athletes and Flex Magazine athletes all in the same room. It was like Marvel and DC Comics coming together for Stan Lee. That's what it was like. So I was able to turn a lot of things into positive. I remember, like I said, in 2009, I didn't play so well, and I was really upset, and I was really down about myself. And I just turned it around, and I said, you know what, even though you got 5th, even though you were sick, you could look at it as an excuse and go to bed, or you can be the first one up actually training. I was training legs, of all things, after a contest. And I just got done throwing up for like, I lost like 26 pounds. I'm not supposed to be training. And I remember Greg Merritt and the late Sean Perrine were like, why are you here? And I said, I'm going to turn this failure into a positive. I'm going to say, you know what? It wasn't my night, but I'm going to be so stubborn that God himself is going to say, I got to let him win, because he's just going to keep coming back stronger and stronger. So I learned very early on that, things don't go your way for a reason. And it's how you, I call it attitude check. In 2000 and, even last year's Olympia, that could be considered a failure. It was really difficult. But a lot of them I just don't look at as failures. I look at them as opportunity markers. I look at them as defining moments in your life. I could say I had a failed marriage. The first marriage I had was failed. But then I could say, you know what? What did I learn from that? There's a lot to learn from your failures. First supplement company I ever tried to do with friends of mine ended bad. And was it my fault? No. I didn't ask them to do bad business practices and stuff, but you could say, oh, that was a failure, or it was an opportunity to learn something. I'll take the lesson, because in life, and this is going for every kid out there, you're going to learn two types of lessons in life. One type of lesson is going to be inexpensive. Maybe you get a parking ticket or something like that. Very inexpensive. The other ones are very expensive, like going to jail or like creating a really bad like debt for yourself, like overspending and not paying attention, and then having something really bad happen. You committing a crime or just really not being the best version of yourself, and some unfortunate things happen. Sometimes you learn two ways: inexpensive lessons and very expensive lessons. You try to minimize those expensive ones, but you're going to learn. Something's going to be, you can live inexpensive lessons throughout your whole life, hopefully. But every now and again, you're going to get hit with something. I'm sure, Nick, you running with the BodyPower and stuff like that. There's various things that happen with running a business. The BodyPower being a business, you have to hire attorneys. You have to hire this person. Things change. Roles of leadership. You having to address certain issues, knowing how to manage other people's expectations. Everything isn't Hallmark cards and roses and candy. You have to be willing to take the hits. And those are things that I accepted early on, because you can't expect everything to be perfect. Life is not perfect. So last year's Olympia wasn't perfect, but it was an opportunity for personal growth. And I was like, yeah, should I have won? In my heart, yes. In my heart, I know I won. That had to be good for me. Kudos to Sean. He won his thing. Good for him. But what did I learn from this lesson? Because there's a reason why I lost, right? That is bigger than what the score sheet says or what the judges think or say or this blogger, this, or forget all that. Phil, what did you learn about who you are? That's something that will define the next chapter in my life.
Yeah. And just briefly, because you'll have been asked this a million times. Mm-hmm. You said earlier your aim was to win 10 Mr. Olympias.
Yeah.
Does that remain the same?
It's funny. This is the first time that I've been able to publicly talk about it, or that I decided to. I don't know right now. I think I'm going through a little conflict because sometimes when things change, I have to kind of listen to it. So, the goal was 10. Is the goal still 10? It kind of is. But just like with basketball was to make it to the NBA. That didn't happen. So do I keep pressing for the NBA, or do I close that door and then wait for something else to open, which was bodybuilding, right? Since losing the Olympia title, or should I say not winning number 8, a lot of new opportunities have come my way. TV, film, products, different types of appearances, personal growth, other networking that I've been able to do with, big time entrepreneurs and stuff like that. I would not have that opportunity if I focused just on bodybuilding. So it's like I'm now being faced with other challenges. So it's like, do I still want to pass up on these other opportunities to focus on the title? Or do I want to do both? Or do I just want to take a hiatus? Like, what is it? So would I love to be able to stand up on Olympia stage and win number 8? Yes. To win number 9? Absolutely. And to say I am 10-time? Yes. But I'm starting to realize too, what will that mean? It has to mean something to me. And that's one thing I learned. It doesn't have to mean something to a fan. I love my fans. But at the end of the day, this is my journey. This is my life. I think right now I'm at a point where I'm like, gosh, Phil, if you retired right now, if you never stepped on stage again, what would your legacy be? You'd be 7-time Mr. Olympia, tied with Schwarzenegger. That's pretty freaking awesome for a guy that had no idea what bodybuilding was really about, didn't even want to be one, and became one of the greatest of all time. So, it's all about what my next move is, business-wise as well.
Can I ask you about your next move? Because I don't know whether you've gone public with it or not, but...
So we've got various products that are being made that will be available real soon. We're going to do an announcement come July.
Okay.
So we got some time here.
Is there a name yet?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You're not going to tell me?
No. But what's cool is that I have 3 different endeavors going on.
Okay.
So it's not just like someone will be like, oh, like it's obvious. You probably do supplements and stuff. It's like it's much bigger than some of that as well. So I've got some really cool things on deck. I will tell you one thing I have going on. I have a documentary being made. And it's not like it's not your traditional Generation Iron film, this and that and the other. Nothing against them. But I got contacted by a filmmaker by the name of Adam Scorgie. He is a Canadian filmmaker that has done amazing work with various talented people, from UFC to track and field to U.S. hockey, like NHL. And, he picked me to do a real documentary about my journey, but also where I'm going in life. And my story really hasn't been told. So it's like a great part of my life to have this opportunity. So it's been pitched to, Hulu, Amazon, HBO, Showtime, and this one company called Netflix. And so far, Netflix has been the one that actually has offered us a Netflix original. So usually the original series is where they kind of invest in you first. So we have good opportunities, and I'll give you guys the name. The name is Breaking Olympia. So it's a dual meaning. Could break the record, could break away from the sport, could do both. We'll see.
You're going to keep us guessing.
Of course, I got to sell. So that's one of the endeavors I have going on that I find really cool, because I've always wanted to be able to tell my story. I've let a lot of people maybe paraphrase things or even get away with slander. To be honest, it's my time to really not even set the record straight, but just to expand on who I am to the world, because there is a mystique about me, and I recognize that. Doing these type of chats with you provides other people perspective on how to be a better version of self, knowing that you have all the tools you need. You just have to start using them and not be afraid to do it. Breaking Olympia is going to be not just a 1-year filming. We're going to probably have maybe 2 years of filming. So it's going to be a real production. This is probably going to be something you see at Sundance Film Festival, Cannes Film Festival. We're pushing for that. This is not a basic film. This is something that you guys have not seen. So this is unseen footage. I've got pictures from the day that I decided to become a bodybuilder, October 8th, 2002, the picture that I've always talked to people about. I'll be showing pictures like that, video of me, dunking a basketball, playing as a kid. Those stories from other athletes, not just bodybuilders. Major people talking about, the story, the journey, all these other cool things. So that's something I'm really proud of. But yeah, this summer is going to be wild and crazy because a lot of people want to know, and I'm going to answer your question already. People want to know about the Olympia. We're still working those details out. I'm still working with Hani Rambod. Nothing has changed. I haven't even left. So there really is no comeback. A lot of people say, oh, you coming? The comeback. I never left. What I am doing is figuring out who Phil Heath is in this next chapter of life. Who does he want to be? And how does he want to really maximize what he has? And I think not winning last year and then having to have another surgery and you can't train for 4 or 5 months and you're sitting around and you go through a lot of emotions. For anyone out there that's listening that's going through hardship, instead of going on social media, sharing all your stuff to the world as your method of treatment, maybe pull out a notepad and write down every emotion you have. Maybe write down every day something different. How are you feeling? But write it down. And then maybe after a year, you'll be ready to share it because you're going to go through every emotion. I went through every freaking emotion after the Olympia, and especially after having my second hernia surgery. I mean, it was like every emotion. And I think that's why now, like, I can have these conversations and be more honest and transparent and not feel like I'm a failure or anything like that. I'm okay.
I don't think many people describe you as a failure, Phil.
Oh, no. But you sometimes, you put things in your head. You put noise in there. I will give myself this. I've been able to hear probably the most noise out of any bodybuilder in the world because of the whole social media era. Mm. I know how to handle it. I know how to absorb it. I know how to use it. But I know how to say, I can take the word impossible and then break it down and say, I am possible. I'm possible. And remind myself how good I am and how I can learn. The willingness to learn for me is like, I think one of my greatest assets because I'm not afraid to learn new things. I'm not afraid to pick up a book. I'm not afraid to ask questions. I'm not afraid to get criticized. I'm not afraid to just fall flat on my face. I don't care because I know in the long run it's going to yield something that I'm going to be proud of later on. Mm. And for me, I'm a human being. I'm no different than anybody else. I just have a different sense of well-being. I know how to be vulnerable, and I know how to recognize who I am and how I operate. How I operate with different stimuli. Like, how do I function when I'm stressed, when I'm nervous, when I'm anxious, when I'm excited, when I'm depressed. I share these same emotions as everybody else. It's just that when there's a goal in mind, I make that a realistic thing. It's not just something like, I want to be Mr. Olympia. Well, that sounds cool, and you think that, yeah, you'll get the applause, and people will write on your social media feed and this and that, and probably, say, yeah, you can do it. The difference is that I could give a shit if someone said that, yeah, you can do it, because I made the decision that I'm going to do it. If they want to join in, great. I'm appreciative, just like the people that come to this expo and they want to pour out positivity and love and gratitude and this and that. I appreciate that, and I do the same. But at the end of the day, this is something that if the lights shut off and there was no social media, I'd still want it. I'd probably even want it more because then I get to say, no, I'm really doing this because I want to know that when my days are numbered, which they are, I can say, you know what, man, I lived a damn good life and I did it how I wanted to. So I'm aware of the opportunity that I've had in life and I continue to have. I realize that today's world we're all struggling. We're all trying to make it happen. But today is like a day where you have the greatest amount of resources to get better. You need self-help books, you got 1 million of them. You need a personal trainer, you can find them on YouTube or Facebook or this, that. You can actually interact with people like me. I didn't have that when I first started. I'd have to go wait 4 hours. I waited 4 hours in 2004 to meet Ronnie Coleman. 4 hours. And, you know, I see now like we all have these resources and we don't even use them. Some people do. The people that do, you see them succeed. So I'm, you know, I definitely want to say thanks for bringing me out. It's been a while, but the reception on the first day of the BodyPower has been tremendous. Every person is just love, 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 positive. And then they get to tell me their stories, which is even better. It's just so exciting to even see people come up and show me pictures from 5 years ago. Hey, I met you at BodyPower 5 years ago and this and that. See their kids actually older. And yeah, it does make me feel good when I hear someone say, yeah, because of you, you know, I got through this hardship, or because of you, I lost 30 pounds, or because of you, because of your journey. And I just say, it was all you, man. You just needed to know that you weren't alone. You weren't alone, dude. And I just happen to be that person that reminds you, nah, you're not alone. You went through hardship. So did I. Cool. There's some commonality. Keep going. Keep focus.
Well, it's been fascinating hearing that, Phil, and I'm sure everybody else wishes you the best of luck for the future, whatever it holds for you. And
yes,
we cannot wait to see what this big launch is.
Yes,
and what it's called.
Right. It's like I said, I mean, a lot of work, over 2 years of work, a lot of sacrifice, but it's worth it. And knowing that I get to utilize my brain, you know, it's like, wow, like I get to do stuff as an executive. I went to college for business and information technology.
I mean, we've talked about business before. You've got a great business mind.
And I appreciate that. It's time for me to really do those things, because I can be, if I can be successful at bodybuilding, I can do anything. If I can be successful at winning the Olympia, I can do anything. I think that's what we learned from Arnold. And the people who have won the Olympia kind of understand what I'm saying. So it's a very few people that get it. But I can tell you, I'm not afraid. You know, willing to take the hits, assess the dangers, the hurdles, and go for it. And in the end, you know, when you start a business, you can do it for various reasons, right? Do it to make money. You could do it to want to look cool and be popular and be famous and stuff like that. Or you can say, you know, I want to provide a product or a service that's going to help somebody, and then take it a step further and say, I want to be able to walk to my car in the parking lot where my company is, and have one of the employees either stop me there or stop me in the elevator and say, Mr. Heath, Phil, yeah. Yes, Phil, Mr. Phil, thank you for believing in me. Thank you for hiring me. Thank you for giving me opportunity. Because of you, because of this company, I can pay off my school debt. Because of you, I can buy my first house. I can put my kid in private school. I can have health care for my wife who's now pregnant. You know, those are the things that I think about more now, is like, feel like you have, if I can have a line here at the BodyPower that's 2 hours deep, that means I have something valuable to share with the world. Why not create business to where I can help the world? Because I recognize that gift. So when it's talking about being popular and famous, I've done that. I'm going to always be that. But if I could help someone make a living, live an honest life, be a leader to them, so then they can learn to think for themselves and do right by their loved ones, and I'll be okay when, like I said, when I'm old and it's time to go on to that next chapter. And I'll say this: I drive every day to the gym no different than anybody else. The difference is that I drive by a cemetery every day to the gym. It's weird, right? It's like, what the hell? Feels like going on a complete tangent right now. What the hell is he talking about? I drive by it and I say to myself every time, I'm like, look to your left and you can see all the headstones. Look to your left and who's over there mourning? Every day I see a different person, different car, different person Some people have their chairs out there. Some people have balloons. Some people have flowers. Some people you could tell they're just going through it, man. You could see some people are happy, some people sad, some people confused. I mean, hands in the air, flaring, a lot of that stuff. But you know what I think about it? Say, why are you even talking about this stuff? It's that I wonder what they're saying about each person. And I wonder if one day I work hard, I continue to work hard and try to be the best version of Phil Heath and offer opportunities for other people, how cool it'll be for my headstone and someone walk past it and say, son, that's Phil Heath. But Dad, we're here to see Grandpa. Yeah, that's cool, but it's Phil Heath. Or that's Steve Jobs. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that, right? People that changed the world. That guy meant a lot to me. You know, he reminded me that I can do anything. I'm kind of more focused on how I'm going to leave it. And that requires a lot of work. That requires more work than just flexing some muscles. That requires a lot more sacrifice than I think a lot of people think about. I think we think about it toward the end of life. I'm trying to think about it before I turn 40. So then I have a goal in mind and say, you know what, Phil, if you want to do business, you should be thinking about how you're going to change the world. Because you already have in bodybuilding. You can do anything if you want. So for anybody out there listening, really try to be the best version of who you are. Learn about yourself. Be accountable for your actions. I'll say it again. Be accountable for your actions. You have choices and you have consequences, no matter what. When you screw up, you own it, you improve, and you move on. You don't get bitter, you get better. You train hard, you train smart, and you freaking have fun. You're going to go through crap in life, but that's okay because that's an opportunity. That's that defining moment. That's one of those opportunity markers that says, "Oh man, Nick, I have 100 stories, right? I've gone through it all. I've gone through divorce. I've gone through death. I've gone through business failed. I've gone through business succeeding, then fail. I've had friends, family, foes become even worse enemies than I could ever imagine. I've had it all. One thing I made sure, don't let it affect your goal. Don't let it affect your craft. I went through all that stuff and still won the Olympia. I made sure because I realized, Phil, that's just life. You're not the first person to go through a divorce. You're not the first person to have a business that failed. You're not the first person to have friends or family screw you over or create noise. Just get through it, dude. Be that guy so then when you meet a fan, hey, Jimmy, what's your excuse? What's your excuse, man? They can say, you know what? Phil Heath went through it. He's human just like me. I can go through it too. I step up to that challenge. Phil Heath wanted to win 10 Mr Olympias, got knocked off the title and stuff. But he said, he can get better? How is he going to get better? I'm telling everybody right now, you get better. Because if you don't, you're going to be bitter. And we don't need more bitterness in this world. We need people wanting to get better. We need people to be very focused, very passionate, be willing to show gratitude and just be thankful for the air that you breathe and really soak this life up. Not be selfish, to give. I can give everybody perspective all day. It's what you do with it. Give a damn about your success. No one's going to want it more than you. No one's going to want me to succeed more than me. I can't ask you, Nick, to do it. I can't say, please call me every day to be accountable for my actions. It's like, are you kidding me? That's me being an energy vampire and just, help me. No, man, give me a rod, a fishing line. I'll go find fish. Maybe you have to show me one time how to do it. Be a good listener, guys. Be thankful. Work hard. And when you win, don't forget where you come from. Don't forget where you're trying to go. Your work is not done. It's only started. We're done.
I don't know what to say, Phil. I'm inspired myself. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. And coming over again.
I am so thankful. And I really am. It's like a long time. It feels like forever. But, I'm here for these fans, and I'm glad that we were able to get a deal done so I can get out here and do that. Because I just feel like right now Nothing against the other pros. I just feel like I'm not as introverted, obviously. I want to connect, but I want them to know from a champion's mindset, like what it feels like and how you can get it to. How you can really do it. But it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. It's the unknown. But I'm here to spread love, positivity, encouragement, perspective. And if they really want brutal honesty, they know where to get it. But overall, I just want them to be happy. I want them to live this life. We got so much cool stuff happening. Let's be the light. Let's, on our worst day, realize I got opportunity, man. Let's treat life like a leg day. It's either treat life like arms, right? If I said, hey, let's go train arms, everybody like, I'm down. Let's train chest, I'm down. Let's train legs. Oh, hell no. You change that attitude and you make leg day your best one. Oh my God. You're going to have an incredible journey. You're going to realize that you're stronger than you ever could imagine. And you're going to be fearless. Fearless. You're going to have fear, but you're going to have less of it. Become fearless. Become relentless. But give back and be thankful for what you have. Shake those hands. Earn your stripes. Earn your pillow that you get to sleep on. Earn it all. And just live. Because I can tell you, like, I am so thankful that in this space of bodybuilding, I can say I'm tied with Schwarzenegger. That's crazy. That is wild. Some guy said, you're like Arnold. I was like, well, I guess I got to get in some TV and film, I got to do that. But yeah, I am. Holy shit. Like, that's sick. Let's take it further. Let's see how far I can go. Let's see how many people I can connect with. So for all you guys, I'm just going to do a shameless plug. For all you guys not following me right now, go on www.philipheath, that's 2 L's, Heath, like the candy bar, only much bigger.com. So philipheath.com. Giftedathletics.com's clothing line. Instagram @PhilHeath. Facebook @PhilHeath. Twitter @PhilHeath. Got a lot of new cool things happening right now. A lot of cool endeavors. Want you guys to join in on it. I promise you won't just be disappointed. And I'm doing all of these endeavors for you, the fans, and the customers, the clients, the world.
Fantastic. Thanks, Phil.
No, thank you.